Beautiful blessings, everyone. It is the opening of the Lionsgate, and so there has been a lot of strong pull with star seeds and our intergalactic family. And so I kind of got a little nudge today to do a Starseed Oracle reading. And this is a wonderful time because the energy is just wide open with the Lionsgate. I was also pulled to work with two very beautiful pieces. These are gorgeous crystals. And the large quartz. This one is gorgeous. The interesting story about this is both of these pieces were purchased separately. But when I had got them together, they wanted to be fit together. And so they sit in perfectly together and have began resonating together, which has been extraordinary. And I've noticed that they seem to resonate with the Starseed Oracles that I do. And if you're interested, you can get those crystals or those type of crystals. I got them from Sage of Stones, and you can find him on Twitter and Instagram. So first, I would like to say thank you to Source for allowing me to be a medium of light. And I ask our beautiful intergalactic family to come through this beautiful Lionsgate portal and help us hear a message for the highest good. Thank you. I'm just going to quick shuffle. Okay, I do three. One is for Source, one is Spirit, and one is Soul. It holds the energy of each. And because this is a starseed reading, they're asking me to do a fourth. So I'm not sure what that is, but I just listen and bring through the message. And so they'd already moved, so I'm taking one. And this one is fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposites, extreme of life. The first thing they're bringing to my attention is this. What looks like beautiful clouds of different hues of pinks and purples. And this is something that has been coming through in our skies recently. I just had a personal experience where I was outside and my attention was just almost yanked up to look up, and they told me the gathering. And it was very distinct cloud formations, and that's something that they want to verify as they're coming through today, that these are ancient beings that speak to us. And they're explaining that it's their way of communicating in a physical sense. It's the same as what we have, the hieroglyphs, and we write script and text. This is their formation. They speak in images. And because the clouds are so easily manipulated, they're vapor, and water is a living essence. It's an energy. It's alive. They can move into that space and manipulate the water like they would do the ocean, or the water in our body like cymatics. When we listen to certain frequencies, the way it distributes through our whole system, it's the same thing in the sky. And so they're bringing that through. And also, they're saying that the message in the book that they're going to have me read is different. They want us to understand that now they're using the divine counterparts, because this is holding a certain resonance. This certain frequency is capable of bringing through this energy that they need for communicating. And they're saying that the divine counterparts are going to notice that they're going to get simultaneous contact, simultaneous visions, simultaneous downloads that will resonate the same frequency. And it's going to be from our star family, our intergalactic families. And so they're saying to to go ahead and look at the book. Pardon me, it takes a minute to find this one because it's... Okay. The Great Mother ushered you in when you took your first breath, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life can be, and that being human can be lonely and confusing. That the polarity and separation can be excruciating when your soul remembers the oneness of Source. But at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. So often we see things as either good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that we're being rewarded. And when things go bad, then perhaps we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow. And it's through the extremes of life that we do exactly that. You're being invited to welcome the highs and the lows of the human experience, to let them initiate you more fully into the life, the agony and the ecstasy, the beauty and the bitterness. This life is but a single breath in an inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. The Great Mother wants you to hand over your loneliness, worries, hurt, sorrows, fears, burdens, and doubts, to lay them on her altar, to fall fully into her arms, to remember that while these extremes are difficult, they can also be magnificent. The more wildly pendulum of a life that swings, the more truthfully you can say that I truly lived. And listening. They're saying that we can balance this when we go within and surrender, because the resonance of trust in the experience and slowly remembering why we're here is like looking into the void. There is nothing, no thing that we observe. It is not with or without. It just is. And it's very difficult for us to have the human experience and understand this. But it is part of us. As said, it's not separated. And so as we're moving into that space in this beautiful Lion Gates portal, where we're absorbing the energies, transmuting the energies, and surrendering, we are slowly remembering the very beginning, this place of the void. And they're reminding me that when people think of screaming into the void or falling into the void, that triggers that absence of something. Sometimes we associate that with the negativity because there's fear that rises when we think of something like the Great Void. But the Starseed family are stepping forward and say through this is how they communicate, how they manifest. Because it is, and that's where the great spark of light began. Everything begins and ends in the void. And many who've had near-death experiences have experienced this vast expansion. And they don't feel anything. They feel completely part of it. They've experienced the spark of creation and yet the nothingness. And there isn't fear. And so this is another part of this message that's coming through very strong, is that we can reset in this space by surrendering when we're going through an experience, to not identify it with good or bad, and just allow this creation to come right through, filter it through the void, surrender to it, And that takes away any ideas or concepts of something and lets the direct experience flow through, because that's why we're here. And yes, we need the densities. We knew that. We knew Earth School had the densities. And there are some filters. And there are some feelings of negativity and elation. But those are to spark emotions so we can experience that sensation. It's one of our senses. It's like the sixth sense of intuition. It's the knowing. Sometimes emotion, which is triggered by the different densities like that, the extremes, can help us focus, can help us create. We need that. All the great poets and artists and dancers and photographers and musicians, they came here to experience the emotions, the duality, the negative and the positive. And that's what we need. But the great surrendering happens when we give that back to the universe and we allow it to process through this big void, this big expansion. It's so much more than we can comprehend in this Earth School right now. But we know that when we return there, we're just part of it all. And so they're pulling their energy back. And they're saying, please, as we're surrendering, know that we're going to be getting a lot of messages, that the clouds are a beautiful way that they can communicate with us, and that we can shift a little bit of our ideas, that we see the night sky and we think of our galactic family because we're seeing the stars, we're seeing the vastness of that. But they're also there during the day, just like the moon and the sun and all the galaxies and everything that's there. We just have to trust the communications, the vibrations, and the shifts, and allow this. So beautiful blessings, everyone. I thank you for allowing me to share this message. I hope that you're enjoying the energy of this Lionsgate portal and use this. It's a magical gift that we get, each of us, once during this time of year where the most extraordinary things become present. Our awareness becomes on many different dimensional levels, and we can see. It's like putting the special glasses on that lets us see all the spectrums of light that are out there. All my love.